2004. Woodford County is doing what Woodford County does, putting guys in the finals and winning state championships. If you would, our guest today, introduce yourself.
I'm Rusty Parks, member of the Woodford County wrestling team from 2003 to 2006, three-time state placer, state champion, member of back-to-back state championship teams as well. So a lot of, excuse me.
No, go ahead. No, I'd say 2004, 112 pounds
Yep.
was your weight class, and of course I wrestled 112 pounds. It's a good thing that, we never met. Things
Yes.
could have been differently.
Yeah,
no,
you might
I'm
have
kidding.
kicked my butt.
I'm kidding. But we're here in the, if you can't tell, we're in the weight room, practice room for Woodford County High School. You guys are going to see some of the banners, some of the placards they got up on the walls. A lot of tradition here. 13-time team state champions. And you guys are just, when people think Kentucky wrestling, they think Woodford County and now Union County. Correct. But kind of walk us through how does a young Rusty Parks find wrestling?
I don't think I had a choice, honestly. So my whole family wrestling background. My father and uncle both were wrestlers. Mm-hmm. But some people might know my name being Rusty Parks. I was named after my uncle. So namesake, big shoes to fill eventually when I became a coach. But at 5 years old, we moved from Florida to Kentucky. My father trained horses, so when we moved to Kentucky, my uncle was here as a wrestling coach already. So I was 5, my little brother was almost 4, going on 4 years old. So we hopped into the youth program because at home we were kicking each other's butts, fighting all the time. There were 5 boys growing up.
Oh my goodness.
So my mother thought the method to her madness should be send them to Uncle Rusty, the mat room, which we got hooked right away. Being competitive kids already, a sport like this to us was, we fed off of wrestling. And eventually we were able to get some of our best friends into wrestling who end up being some of the best wrestlers out of Woodford County as well, like Cody Lewis, Harrison Courtney, guys like that were on our teams. We somewhat like to think that we kind of helped them get into the sport as well, especially Cody. Cody was our neighbor growing up, so his families and our families were really close, but we would wrestle in the yard all the time. I'm like, God, this kid's strong. We got to get him out for wrestling. So being the same grade as my little brother, we were able to hook a superstar like Cody Lewis as well. But from a young age, we didn't have a choice. It was a family tradition. And then my uncle being a part of the best, program and the history of the state of Kentucky, it was a no-brainer for my mother and father to continue us in the sport of wrestling.
Right. Now, I can understand. Now let's kind of go through your high school postseason career here. 2003, 5th place as a freshman, 103 pounds. Yep. Then, of course, 2004, you win 112 pounds. 2005, 125 pounds, junior, 5th place. Also, like I said, team champions in 2005. So you were able to win a state championship, 3-time All-Stater, and that comes from starting at a young age, being around a great program. And I know a lot of schools now, middle school, elementary school, are starting youth programs, are taking their kids to off-season tournaments, and that's where the majority of the people we've got to do interviews with, they'll say something to that effect. I started when I was young. The coaches made it fun. We had youth camps, and I met some of my best friends. And wrestling, you can just walk in this room and just get the aroma of sweat has been leaked in here. There's been blood leaked in here. There's been some tears, some fights. I'm sure you can just tell that this room has a lot of tradition in it. Wrestling isn't the easiest sport to do, is it?
Not at all. No.
But if you get people that you know, people that you're friends with, and you're able to build a camaraderie, you're able to build with your friends, you want to be on the team.
The relationship between teammates is huge. Like you said, that camaraderie, but we like to use the U word, unity.
Unity, that's a good word.
We strive here at Woodford County, though, for success, and that goes beyond the wrestling mat.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course.
So what we get from the sport in wrestling that we were taught at a young age in this mat room is work ethic. Don't give up. Discipline.
Out front, you guys have the sign, like all the years of the state championships. Correct. And that's something a lot of schools I've been to, they talk about how important it is for their community, for not just like the students they go with, but people that they'll never meet.
Support system.
That can say, hey, we go somewhere, we wear Woodford County, we wear like a Johnson, a Union County shirt. They're going to know what that means because of our reputation precedes us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Most prestigious wrestling program in Kentucky in my opinion, still Union County obviously is a powerhouse to be dethroned soon, hopefully. But the Irvins definitely are doing a good job, and it starts from the bottom there, their youth program. But at Woodford County, the support system was huge for us growing up. Our community really backed us up, from sponsorships to just the town knowing what we're all about. That's what we do here in Woodford County is wrestling, and they knew that, so they supported that. But having a community that backed you like that is very important, because that, we still say it was Woodford versus the world.
I can believe that. Well, I can see that.
When we walked in the gym, we had all eyes on us at that time.
The champ is in the building, right?
Well, it got quiet when we walked in the building usually, and some was envy, some was hatred. But we fed off of that as teammates and athletes. That's why we always really stuck together. That's why we bleached our hair. Back to the U word, unity.
And that's, I have, like I said, I have 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. I got just a couple years of 90s.
Yes, sir.
The first bleach blonde wrestler that I can find under the lights was 2000, Eric Slugan. Okay, Alex from the future here. I'm here in the room where I edit some of my YouTube videos, do some green screen work. I want to make sure I get this right. I said the wrong name. It was not Eric Slugans. It was Ryan Lugers. Not to be confused with Lex Luger, the professional wrestler. Ryan Lugers at 125 pounds in 2000. That is the first bleach blonde hair that I have on video under the lights. Let's get back to the video.
Slugans possibly might have, I want to say back in 1999, they might have started the bleaching, possibly. I could be wrong there on that starting, but like I said, that goes back to the unity for us. Everybody thinks it might look silly or something like that, but to us, it's a unity thing. Let's bleach our hair, let's stick out a little bit, but it's more of an intimidating thing as well.
Funny you should say that. Is George King. We've done an interview with George King, Union County.
I watched that, yes.
And he actually says dyeing his hair blonde was the shot at you guys. It's like, it was a shot at Woodford County.
Absolutely.
It was the shot.
Which we feed off of that again. As a competitor, that's what we want. We want people gunning for us. And one thing we'll always tell you that was installed in our head here at Woodford County, there's two things to being a champion: discipline and hard work. That's what Joe Carr always really pushed in our head. My uncle as well, JoJo. Tommy Castle, David Graves, we had a great coaching staff as well. Ian Cage is our middle school coach. So to me, these guys weren't wrestling yet, but Buck Stewart was my youth and middle school coach. So that goes way beyond some of these younger guys' times, But our coaching staff, call me biased, but best coaching staff in the world.
You're pretty good coaching staff.
Up there with the elite company, we'll say.
I will 100% agree. Let's go over your 2004 bracket real quick. Now, of course, you win. This was post-district, so you had regions. You didn't have the district tournament, so you had regions. Your first round, you're wrestling, is it Matt Conte?
Matt Conte at DuPont Manual.
DuPont Manual, win that by a tech fall, 18-1, so you're here to make a statement. You're not here to play around.
Yep.
Second round, you wrestle, of course, it's 2004. I graduated 2003.
Yeah, Drew is always...
Drew Trimble, Johnson Central, 12-2 decision. I think Drew placed that year.
He did place that year.
That's what I thought.
Drew was tough. I think we had never hooked up until the state championship, actually, but I had heard a lot about him. I believe his father was on the coaching staff.
Yep,
and,
he was
very
principal, too, and just kind
of
like
the Johnson Central school system. But Drew Trimble, he was a tough kid. I remember going into that match a little nervous, but... I knew I was probably one of the best technicians in the state by far, and what was done in here, preparation-wise, I was prepared for whatever was thrown at me there.
I can understand that. No, I got it wrote down. Drew does come in 8th.
Yep.
In the quarterfinals, you're wrestling Brian Peace from Morale. You win that by a 10-3 decision, and Brian comes in 6th that year. So back right off you've wrestled 2 placers in back-to-back matches. And you get to the semifinals, you're wrestling Ryan Robinette from Sheldon Clark.
Yes.
You win that by a close 6-4 decision. Ryan ends up coming in 3rd. Had you wrestled Ryan before?
No, so Robinette, top-ranked kid coming to the state championship. I want to say I came in ranked 3rd or 4th. Rankings don't mean anything in my opinion, but at the time at a young age, that was important to us. We really fed off of stuff like that. But now looking back, hindsight 2020, rankings mean nothing. I've watched the best of the best lose, and But Robinette, top-ranked kid coming to the state championship. I want to say undefeated going into that semifinal match. I kind of explained to you earlier, I kind of caught something that morning prior to weigh-ins that really caught my eye and somewhat lit a fire under my butt. Robinette was still cutting weight on that third day. We had 3-day weigh-in back there, and that was extremely tough to do. I was a fairly good-sized 12-pounder. I was cutting from about 25 or so.
My goodness.
I was a good-sized 12-pounder. Realistic truth, I couldn't beat Harrison. I couldn't beat Cody. We had scraps in the room every day, but you know, if you want to be honest about it, I had 2 very tough teammates below me and above me. Perfect spot for me at 112. I just had to make the weight class. But that goes back to the team thing as well. They needed me at the weight class. We had a stud at 3. We had a stud at 19. That was my spot at 12.
And you filled it perfectly. Now in the finals, we're not going to tell you how it goes, but you wrestled Eric Bryant from McCreary Central. Had you wrestled Eric before?
Yeah, so I had wrestled Eric, I want to say 2 times prior to the state finals match that season. I want to say a pin and a tech fall going into the state championship match. So I knew a little bit about him. Very funky wrestler though. Coming out of McCreary Central, I knew there was going to be a lot of strength involved. There's going to be a lot of upper body stuff involved as well. You know, Wayne County, McCreary County, they'll throw you if you're in bad position or bad situation. So I knew I had to stick to the game plan though. Our game plan: control the tie-up, stay in good position, push the pace. Because back then especially, there was no one in Kentucky that could test our cardio at Woodford County. That's where we won a lot of matches. We like to call it a double-edged sword: technique and cardio. See if they can dodge one of those ends of that sword.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. Of course, we've got the video pulled up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, you were telling us a story, if you would, about the tapes and your rings and medals, all that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great story that people need to hear, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, my mother and father both were huge. You know, they were huge fans of ours. My little brother was a state champion, 3-time placer as well. So we argue all the time. His resume might be a little better because I took 5th twice. He took 1st, 3rd, 5th. So we like to argue that. I had more wins and better percentage on losses than he did. So very competitive still at 31 or 32, 34 years old. We still compete daily. But yeah, mother and father were huge fans of ours, so we were able to film every match, and we were huge students of the game as well. We watched a lot of film. From watching it with Coach Carr before or after practice to going home and sitting with my father and watching film but nonetheless, long story short, someone broke in our house one time and stole almost everything that we owned at the time, but they took all of our they took 4 state championship rings, some wrestling tapes, stuff that with 0 value to them, but to us a lot of sentimental value because I know all the blood, sweat, hard work, the tears that went into earning that stuff, you know. So we don't have that. I haven't seen this video though in probably a good 10 years or more, honestly. So this is I remember in my head though. I'm a wrestling guru, so I remember every situation, everything that happened. I don't want to start it because I know I'm getting ready to get put on my back in the first 30 seconds. So I don't really I'm not too excited to start it, but I'm excited to see the end results.
But before we start it, we'll make a plea to you. If you know where his rings are, if you know where his medals are, if you know where the tapes are, no questions asked, reach out to us and we'll see that they'll get to the proper owner. Like I said, no questions asked. We just want to get the medals, the rings, the videotapes to them because we know how much it means to people. So you guys are seeing what we're seeing. We're at the Farnham Dungeon Center in Frankfort. Just a quick little drive up the road for you guys. Yes, Woodford County always had a big crowd. Always the yellow glow sticks, all that kind of stuff. I think the camera for just about every event was somewhere right beside the Woodford County cheering section because they're always the loudest.
I want to say we're to the right of this video here, if I'm remembering correctly. Our crowd's usually going to be to this right side. I'm almost 100% correct that our fans are going to be to the right side over here.
Now, 2004 has the introductions, the match, and the medal ceremony. So
awesome.
Let's do it.
This was the coolest atmosphere in the world for wrestling as well. I really missed this.
This is the best. Every video we have, this is the best state championship atmosphere that the KHSAA ever put on.
I was so nervous running out for this this face-off here. Something we had done many times before, face-offs. Being successful at Woodford, we were in the finals a lot. So this was nothing new to us, but never under the lights like this, and never with the attendance that was there at that venue.
So here you are. Now we got a couple guys here off camera. If you guys want to come around behind us and watch, you're more than welcome. We got Harrison and Cody here. You guys want to come behind us and You can always tell that bleached blonde hair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walking up.
People still tell me now I got one pace when I walk, and it's one gear. So I still have that. You know, when I walk places, I don't take my time. I get there pretty quickly. You know?
I got you.
I was a pretty big 12-pounder though.
Yeah,
like
you're
I
big.
said,
I can tell.
I was cutting some good weight. We didn't have all those rules back then either, so we were able to.
What's your go-to takedown here? What's your
My
bread and
go-to,
butter?
I was a leg attack guy. You know, I was very good technician, like I said, and again, I told you, I haven't seen it in 10 years, but I remember. I don't think I gave up back points necessarily, nothing at all, but out of the ordinary for me. Eye opener though. Hey, this is the state finals. Anything can happen. So, you know, good stance, great low single. Something we really practice daily is that John Smith low single, head inside. Probably should have been getting ankle high and finishing now. I think I drive through to a double and get my first takedown.
Oh, there it is. Good memory.
Yeah, I think I ended up hooking a Turk in and shooting. No, I missed the Turk.
Got right out of bounds.
As a coach, I know now I should have been doing stuff differently, you know. But back then, I'm 14, 15 years old, so I'm still young. I actually tear my shoulder out here in this match, and that caused me to have shoulder surgery. I missed half of my junior year. I go into my junior year state championship top dog. I'd beat everybody.
Right.
But I had a shoulder injury. No excuses, though. I got beat fair and square by Ozzie Parker in the quarters.
Oh, yeah, Ozzie. Now, we've done a video review with Ozzie for 2006. Ozzie's a good wrestler.
Yeah. Game plan for me, though, like I said, control the type, or try to at least. I knew I was very good defensively.
He's trying like a fireman there out there, like a dump.
Yeah, he's trying to dump me over with a little fireman's there, but I knew defensively I had great hips. I'm not going to lie, I didn't get taken down very often in high school period, so if I did,
Ooh, too.
You know, which it did happen there as soon as I say that, but it didn't happen a lot, so.
Locking hands. I think he's got Bryant for locking hands, yep.
Yeah, but again, I shouldn't have got taken down there. That makes me mad still. I can see I can't see it, but I can hear my uncle right now getting on my butt. You know, stay in your stance, you shoot. That's one thing they always continued to yell at me, my dad and uncle, was you shoot. And that's something we kind of coached these guys into as well. If you're shooting, you're scoring. You know, if you wait for things to happen, it's usually not a good thing. I think we get into a little scramble here. Here's where I throw in a Turk. I think I need to be limp arming and elevating, trying to get some back points in there. I still want to say I'm on top here, probably. Looking for a barbed wire on top with the crossface series.
Okay, so you got your reversal.
Like I said, I was young. I see a lot of flaws in my wrestling game then that I probably should have improved on. But, you know, at a young age, it's hard to go back.
He defers choice. Of course, you're going to take down. I'm sure that's
absolutely.
probably a given.
Yeah, that's something that we were always really tough on as bottom, just because we went to Granby camp every summer. So we were tough on bottom. We had no, you know, concern when it came to getting off the bottom. On our feet, you get to your feet. We were always told, get to your feet, stay on your feet. And now we got stalling calls that come into play, which I probably would have got back then, but I didn't. Just new rules and stuff. Yeah, like I said, I had good hips though. I was always comfortable in the defensive mode, but I was an offensive wrestler. I never really liked to play defense. I was always on the go. Good stance was important for us. Nice little high crotch, dump.
There it is.
Probably shot from too far away.
It almost looked easy right there.
It was, but again, I probably shot from too far away distance-wise. Something we were always trained to do is close the gap. Get in there and get your hands on, make sure you can touch them.
Now, the cutting him, was that just a decision, or what we
coaching decision? My coaches, I'm sure, yelling, and that's something I was big on. I made sure that my ears were always open. Coach Carr, or Uncle Rusty, or JoJo, or whoever was in my corner was telling me to do something, I'm listening. I know they're on my side for a reason. They're not going to steer me wrong. A lot of kids I've seen like to go against that sometimes. They won't listen to what their coach says, and they end up, it bites them in the butt sometimes. So young guys out there, listen to your coaches. That's important. They're there to help you win, trust me.
Yeah.
They don't, you know, I always had a saying, Cody will tell you, Harrison will tell you, we win together, we lose together. So if I lose out there, my coaches are defeated as well. So, but on top, working inside wrist series, something we were really tough at, getting the wrist on the back.
Well, I think it's a young Joe Catan out there.
I think I got Mark Shoemate, or no, excuse me, not Mark, but I know that's Barnett there.
Yeah, Dave.
This is crap, that's not Catan, or I can't remember his name now. I know who he is.
If you can identify him, put him in the comments.
I will, absolutely. I can't think of his name at the moment. I think his name could be Mark, possibly. I know it's not Shoemate, but on top, I need more pressure there and more weight on the hands. Try to pull the hip down. We call that a rotary or a spiral ride.
Ooh.
Again, age plays a factor there. A little sloppy on top. Probably didn't have as much pressure as I should have had.
You're trying for that switch.
I was tough with the switch, step
End of the
overs,
period.
stuff like that.
So you're going into the third up.
I'd say 10-6.
10 to 6.
11-6 score.
11-6, and he's going to take down.
Like I said, Eric Bryant, though, not a slouch wrestler at all. I believe multiple placer. You know, scrappy wrestler, though.
You're going up. That's
Yeah.
twice you went optional start on
I was very comfortable on my feet. I was, like I said, I was a pretty good technician, but I was comfortable on my feet. I hadn't given up very many takedowns this year. I think I gave up more in this match probably than I did for the entire season, I would say. Again, that goes back to the practice room, though. You know, I was comfortable on my feet because then here I had some of the best practice partners on my feet that I got a good look at every day, Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, excuse me. You know, so I was comfortable in there. I knew some of these guys from Mercury or other schools like that, they're not going to throw at me what my guys are throwing at me in the room, technique-wise. So
you're
very-
probably right.
and not a knock at them at all. I was just confident in my teammates and our technique and what we were trained and taught to do. Yeah, optional start again. I want to say 3 cuts there. So I've given him 3 points. I like to say that. He didn't earn those. I gave those to him. Yeah, that's something I noticed now I should have been working on is my leg defense. He shot in a couple times on me and got in on my legs, not with a takedown necessarily. Was able to catch a little body lock and take him down and get 2 and 2, I want to say.
Yep. 17 to 8.
Yeah, I want to say 17 to 8. I want to say I end up riding him out here now. 1 minute left, 17 to 8 final score. So actually, he probably gets a point. Beat him 17 to 9. So I think I end up giving him an extra point. But tough on top here. That's the name of the game now. Is ride out. You know, look busy. Don't get hit for stalling now. Even though I probably could have given up a stall call, that's nothing that we ever were proud of. I don't ever want to get hit with a caution. I don't ever want to get hit with a stalling call because that's not what we were trained to do. We were trained to go. We always looked at it as the Iowa style or mentality is score and score and score and score and score and go and go and go and go. So yeah, we were tough on ourselves. When we got hit for stalling or cautions or something, we would have to run sprints usually, or we'd have to do push-ups, or we'd
And
something.
the scoreboard just went out.
Well, I actually just dislocated my shoulder right there. As well.
Did you really?
I did. I was running a little chicken wing on him on the right side, but yeah,
I can see you swinging it around.
A few months later, I ended up having to have a shoulder surgery. I got a nice big scar still from that. But state finals, I tear my labrum and dislocate my shoulder, so that was a tough one for me. My shoulder, I want to say, is still possibly out right now. Me rolling it around, moving around, I was trying to pop it back in. I think it eventually pops back in afterwards. Someone in the back, someone in the back there with my uncle told me to bite a towel, and I'm like, what do you mean? They made me bite a towel and put my shoulder back in place in the back there. So that wasn't very fun, but I think adrenaline pumping kind of helped me. I was in this situation a lot, it looks like, a switch, re-switch situation.
That it is something McCreary is really good
Yeah,
at.
they were good at the switch position, but something we trained, a lot of was switch, re-switch, and counter wrestling. And 10 seconds left, I'm still shooting. I wanted to put more points up on the board. Something we strived for at Woodford is not just win, but dominate.
Right.
Dominate.
And there it is, 17-9, 2004. 112-pound state championship with a torn labrum and a dislocated shoulder.
My shoulder was a little jacked up still, but again, the adrenaline pumping.
There he is, picking you up, carrying you off. Eric pat you on the back, telling you good job. All right.
Yeah, that
Coach
was
Carr.
awesome. That was great stuff there. A lot of, like I said, it brings back, it kind of chokes me up to go back and watch, but a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, tears were put into that state championship right there. A lot of weight cutting too, I'm not gonna lie. That was probably the toughest thing I dealt with as a young wrestler was the weight cut. Then going into coaching, I strive to push them to hit the weights more. Don't cut as much weight, feel healthy about yourself, but yeah, I cut a lot of weight. That was the toughest thing for me mentally as a young wrestler was that weight cut. So that was a big speed bump. And I always like to say speed bumps because speed bumps slow you down. Don't let them alter your direction, though.
That's a good. I may use that. Speed
Well,
bumps slow you down,
we
but they
hit
don't
speed
alter your-
bumps daily.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
let them alter your direction, though. So I had a tough weight class that year. My freshman year, though, I had a tough weight class. I had Rochelle and Trejo. I took fifth as
yeah.
a freshman, but I had Trejo and Rochelle. Ben Denny was a stud from South Orem. Coming in this year, though, I had some tough kids, you know. Like I said, Tyler Sexton, I'll never say I didn't, but he beat me 3 times that year. I lost 4 times this year. Sexton from Henry Clay beats me 3 times that year by a combined score of 4 points.
No kidding.
Three matches.
Here's Ryan.
Robinette, tough
Robinette.
kid. Yep. My 4th loss of the year, Rochelle bumped up from 3 at the Dragon Invitational and state champ versus state champ. We hook in the finals and he beats me 3-2 at my weight class though. So it's a little heavier than him, but at the same time, you know, Rochelle beat me my 4th loss that year. But yeah, Peace ends up going on to be a state champion, Trimble state placer, Sexton state placer, Bryant state placer. Robinette was tough, Gary Jennings was tough, Tyler Martin was a stud from Seneca.
And there you are on top of the podium.
Yep.
Top of the world.
Yeah, that was a good feeling there. Like I said, that's what we work for daily. And for us at Woodford County, it's not just an October to March kind of thing. It's a year-round thing for us at Woodford.
Right.
We're in the mat room a lot. We bust our butt in there, off-season wrestling a lot. I think coming into this year, though, I wrestled a lot in the summer. I actually lost to 2 kids that really stick out to me at AAU Nationals. I was an AAU All-American. We used to go down to Knoxville, Tennessee a lot. But 2 kids that stuck out to me going into this year, which I was proud to say I was a state champ this year because Adam Krawinski out of Ohio, state champion, very tough kid. To win state in Ohio, you got to be a stud. And the kid that won my weight class at AAU Nationals, TJ Siebold, best wrestling academy in the U.S. right now, SWA out of Iowa, Siebold Wrestling Academy. Still remain friends with TJ, which is awesome. But you know, I gave him a run for their money. I wrestled some of the best nationally as well. So out of Kentucky, we were very competitive also. I was nationally ranked multiple times.
That's awesome.
Along with my teammates, Harrison, Cody, all of us at that time, Richard Starks. We had some tough kids, but we weren't just ranked in Kentucky. We were on the national radar back then. You see a lot of the kids doing that now, but back then that wasn't as big. So for us to be on that radar back then, we were really doing something on the national level, not just in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, that's and talking about earlier, just in case you didn't get to watch any of Joe Carr's,
Yes.
is 1997. He's into like USA Wrestling
He was on
magazine,
the Dream Team.
and he's in between
Kale
Mike
Sanderson.
Zadek and Kale Sanderson, and he
Absolutely.
said he actually has a win
Yep,
over
over Kale.
Kale.
Yep.
I was like, man, that is
Yep.
that's incredible.
It is incredible to be able to be associated with those guys. I was able to wrestle for JoJo, wrestle for Big Joe, but I was also able to coach alongside them for a good 4 or 5 years, you know, so I learned a lot as a coach. I'll still say I was a better coach than I was competitor by far, or a wrestler or athlete by far. I was able to coach some of the best kids in the state of Kentucky, state placers, state champions.
Right.
But best sport in the world for a young kid is the sport of wrestling to learn how to battle adversity.
Right,
That's the main
absolutely.
thing that you're going to get out of that sport is battle adversity. Starts in the practice room for us, you know.
Yep.
We got our butt kicked every day, so it's are you going to cry and tuck your tail, or are you going to toughen up and figure it out and find a way to win?
There's
So,
a good friend of the channel. I'm not going to say who it is, but there's a good friend of the channel. A couple years ago, he had to have a kidney transplant,
Yep.
and I don't want to say too much because it'll give
Sure.
away, but we wrestled several years in high school, and I didn't know about it until it was over with. Because I guess it was just like an immediate, hey, we got to do this, you know, now. And talking to him after the fact, he was like, yeah, you know, it wasn't fun. It was hard, and I didn't feel good for a while, but
But he's a wrestler.
it wasn't nothing like wrestling
No,
practice.
but he's a wrestler.
Right, exactly.
Something we always, you know, I still do, and I think these guys can vouch also. When I was coaching, I would tell our kids daily, you're a different breed.
Absolutely.
I believe that's a cool name for you, huh?
Yeah, Alex Green, different breed.
That's right.
That's,
But
that's
I used
what I
to
love
tell
having for the channel.
I used to tell our kids that daily. When you walk around the hallways at school, you're a different breed than the person next to you because you're doing something that they're not willing to do.
Exactly.
So.
And exactly. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
For
I
being
really
here and
appreciate
being
it.
in the mat room and everything, and being able to tell your story.
Absolutely. I
And that
really
way everybody can-
appreciate
can
what
see
you're
this.
doing as well. This is awesome for the state of Kentucky for wrestling. I hope more people reach out to Alex if he's not able to reach out to you, because this is important for the future of our sport and state. So,
And We got a bunch more Woodford County guys coming. We're not going to spoil
I
it
sent
here.
you a big list.
Yeah,
so.
a big list, and of course, we got all the. You'll see them in videos. Got the placards, all the state placers, state champions, team titles, all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool to be in here. That's kind of why I wanted to be here, just for the history. I love to give like a good backdrop
Absolutely.
for you guys. No matter where I'm at, I like to be able to say, hey, we're in your element. So
Yes, sir.
that's all we got with Rusty today. Again, we got a bunch more Woodford County guys coming today. We'll see you guys in those videos. If we don't see you there, we'll see you on the mats.
Thank you for having me.